Hi guys, welcome back to Dadlicious Eats, and today I've got an absolute treat with you. This is my favourite cheese straw recipe. This is the one that is super popular at Christmas, at gatherings. I will make this and it will disappear in seconds. The key to this is using nice mature cheddar, a little bit of Parmesan, and then some chilli and some mustard for that extra little kick. I'm super excited to share this with you, so let's get cooking. Right, so on to the ingredients. 375 grams of plain flour, 150 grams of mature cheddar, the stronger the better in my opinion, 50 grams of Parmesan, 2 eggs, 225 grams of unsalted butter, a teaspoon of mustard, a good pinch of salt, and a good pinch of cayenne pepper. So to start off with, let's mix the dry ingredients together. So we've got the flour there, and then we've got the spices. And then we're going to add in the butter. So we've diced this because it's easier to work with. And essentially what we're going to do now is just rub the butter and the flour between our fingers, just like this. And we're going to make some fairly fine breadcrumbs. Now you want to make sure that this butter was cold when you start off with, because else it just becomes a bit of a buttery mush. If you're a subscriber, welcome back. I've had loads of you join over the last couple of weeks and I'm super pumped about that. Thank you very much. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, why not give it a go? I've got loads of family friendly recipes, lots of hints and tricks that I want to share with you. It would be great if you could like the video. It really helps me out and helps out the algorithm. Leave a comment. I'll get back to you. I'd love to hear how these recipes go. I'd love to hear your opinions on whether you would do things differently or not. So like I said, we're looking for nice fine breadcrumbs, and that's what we've got here. So this is ready to move on with. So we're now going to start adding in the rest of the ingredients. So first up is the cheese. So add in all of our mature cheddar, and then the Parmesan. So I usually pop in about half of the Parmesan here, and I save the rest for the topping. Pop your mustard in. Mustard isn't something you have to have, but I find it gives a nice extra dimension of flavour. So we're going to add the eggs in, but the yolks only, so 2 of those. And then just a dash of water. You probably want about 4 to 5 tablespoons of cold water. And that's just enough water just to bring it all together. You can always add more in later if it's looking a little bit too dry. Best to start off with a small amount. And now let's get stuck in. Get your hands in there. Let's bring it all together. It's a little bit messy, this. So, I mean, this is a really good one for the children to do. It just takes a couple of minutes. And once you're starting to get it together into most of a mass, I usually tip it out onto the work surface, because I find it's just a little bit easier, a little bit less restrictive to work with in the bowl. This is good now, so we're going to wrap this up. We're going to pop it into the fridge for about 30 minutes, and it'll be easier to work with later. Now, the best thing I do is I don't use cling film or saran wrap. I use the baking paper that I'm going to use later, because that way it just saves on rubbish. Right, we'll see that in a bit. So 30 minutes later, and it can be longer if you want, it's ready to go. So we're going to pop that out of the fridge, take it out of the wrap, and start rolling it out. You want it about half a centimetre thick or so. I find the easiest way to make fairly symmetrical straws is just to make a nice rectangle at the start. So cut off all the excess because we're going to use that later anyway. And there we've got a nice rectangle that we're then going to split in half along the length. And then we're just going to cut down to make our straws. And you want these roughly about 1 centimetre or ½ an inch wide. If you go too thin, too small, what you end up is getting very crispy sort of biscuits. And actually we want this pastry to be light and fluffy, and when you pull it apart there's a little bit of softness, but there's still that nice crunchy exterior. This recipe makes about 30 to 40 cheese straws. If you want to double it or halve it, feel free. I find the more the better because these just absolutely disappear. If you are enjoying this video, I've got another great one that I want to share with you. It's been really popular recently. It's my mozzarella and bacon pinwheels. I'll pop the link in the comments below, but you can also click the link on the screen now. So those are ready to go. We're going to pop them back onto the greaseproof or baking paper that we used earlier that's on a pan. And we want to give them a little bit of space. They don't puff up too much, but a little bit of space between each one. So that's looking good. We're now going to apply an egg wash onto them. So take an extra egg, crack it into a bowl, add a tiny bit of water, and just use a brush to paint those. That'll give it a nice sheen. And finally, we're going to add the rest of the Parmesans. Just take a little pinch of Parmesan on and add it onto each of the cheese straws. That's looking good. So now we're going to pop this in the oven for 11 to 12 minutes on 190 degrees centigrade. And out are going to come the most delicious cheese straws. I guarantee that these will be an absolute win for you. These are looking good, they're smelling good, they're going to taste good. Great, so that is it. It's as simple as that. Really appreciate you making it all the way through to the end of this video. I'll be back with more great recipes soon. Until then, take care guys.